never made it, but I know what it takes. I'm motivated by a mix of emotion. Got my statement, and I'm reading it slow so I can understand it fully. Appreciate my standing, go out of this world and right on time. Oh, never in my life have I seen the sky light up like this. I'm far away from Earth and I wanna know if you exist. Mission control, do you read me? Send me my coordinates lately. Mission control, am I drifting? Tie me to someone who will love me, yeah. Wait, I think I'll last a bit longer. Find another.
Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone to another Ref Brandon and the Todd Family YouTube video. Wherever you are, whatever you may be doing, thank you so much for making Ref Brandon and the Todd Family a part of your day. We always greatly appreciate it. It is a Saturday, and before I get into what today's video is going to be about, let me first say I've got a shout out coming up at the end of the video, so please stay tuned for that. But since today is Saturday, we are 1 week away from SummerSlam, which is the biggest party of the summer, so I figured in today's video we would talk some wrestling. But today's video is going to be a little bit different from the normal wrestling videos that we do. I'm not going to be interviewing anybody. I'm not reviewing a wrestling show. I'm not previewing a wrestling show. I'm not doing wrestling news and notes and rumors. It's going to be something a little bit different, something that we have not yet done here on the channel. And I know a few weeks back I debuted Fed Up Friday, and when I debuted it, I said that it would be something that I wouldn't do every Friday, but I would try to do it when I got a chance. We did 2 or 3 of them so far. So today is going to be something different, not Fed Up Friday, but something different as far as in the world of wrestling. It's something that I've thought about doing for a while because I think it's very intriguing, and I've actually had a few co-workers that I work with that'll ask me sometimes, do you know what happened to so-and-so? What happened to so-and-so? So I figured today we would do our first installment of Whatever Happened To, and it's going to be an old wrestler who has now retired. And a lot of times wrestlers retire, but they never actually retire from the business. They'll take on some kind of role as a backstage agent, or they'll drive a bus, or they become bookers, or they'll go to their local independent show and get involved with that and things like that. But sometimes the wrestlers retire, and when they retire, they're long gone. They don't come back around. You never see them again, and they actually get normal everyday jobs. And that's why I'm choosing to do this, because there are 3 or 4 guys that used to wrestle that now have very intriguing lives outside of the wrestling business. So I figured that's why we would talk about Whatever Happened To. And today we're going to talk about whatever happened to Dennis Knight. Now, if you're a long-time wrestling fan, you know who Dennis Knight is. You may not know him by his real name, but you know who he is. He wrestled from July of 1989 until December of 2012. And he was born December 26th, 1968, so he is currently 53 years old. He had several ring names, such as Tex Slazenger, Phineas Godwin, Naked Mideon, and then he wrestled under his real name of Dennis Knight. Now, the cool thing about Phineas Godwin, and if you're a long-time wrestling fan, you remember that character, but Phineas was actually spelt Phineas, and his middle initial was I. and his tag team partner's name was Henry, and his middle initial was O. So you had Phineas I. Godwin and Henry O. Godwin, so their names were Pig and Hog, and that was intentional because they were the Godwin brothers, and they were supposed to be hog farmers and pig farmers. So their names were Pig and Hog. And the Godwins were around back in around 94, 95, 96, somewhere along in there. Then he came back as Midian, and then when he was in Undertaker's Ministry of Darkness, he was Naked Midian. But he grew up in Clearwater, Florida, and he played football for Salem College, who are the Salem College Tigers, which is in Salem, West Virginia. He has an eyeball tattooed on the back of his head and a tattoo of Doc Holliday on his left arm. And when he retired in 2012, he became a chef in Clearwater, Florida. So that is what happened to Dennis Knight. He's one of those that when he left the wrestling business, he left the wrestling business. And I've always told my wife that when I get old and I can no longer referee, I'll have to take on some kind of backstage role or ring announcer or something, because there's just no way I would be able to go to a wrestling show and sit in the crowd and not want to get in the ring. So I guess Dennis Knight, as well as some of the other guys we'll talk about later on when I do some more installments of Whatever Happened To, are guys that when they decided they were done with the wrestling business, they decided they were done with the wrestling business. And wrestling is just like any other entertainment field, whether it's football, baseball, basketball, anything like that. Once it gets in your blood, you can't get it out. So the only way to stay out of it and not get back in it is to stay out of it and not get back in it and stay as far away as you can. Because if you go to a show and you walk in the door, you're going to want to get in the ring. You can't help it. That's just the way it is. So I guess when Dennis Knight retired, he decided, I'm doing something besides wrestling. So if you ever go to Clearwater, Florida, go by and see Dennis Knight. And I've actually seen some videos of him as a chef, and he looks exactly the same. If you don't recall what Dennis Knight looks like, just get on Google and type up Phineas Godwin. You can type up Midian, Naked Midian. You can type up Dennis Knight. Any of those things, and as soon as you see him, you'll remember who he is. So that is our first installment of Whatever Happened To, and it was Dennis Knight. Now in the future, I've got 3 or 4 other wrestlers that I want to talk about, because just like Dennis Knight, they now have very normal, basic, everyday lives outside of the wrestling business. But after I talk about those guys in the future, if there's anybody you would like to talk about and see where they are now and what they're up to now, please feel free to let me know at any time in the comment section. My shout out today goes out to Miss Letitia. I actually met Miss Letitia last night at my job. I met her and some of her kids and grandkids. She subscribed to the channel. She is a huge sports fan. So Miss Letitia, thank you so much for subscribing. And now that you have subscribed, if you do so choose to comment on any video at any time, you'll be eligible for our 1,000 subscriber giveaway whenever we get to 1,000 subscribers. Let's go ahead and get our dad joke of the day in here. I used to think I was indecisive. Now, I'm not so sure. And that wraps it up for today's Ref Brandon and the Todd Family YouTube video. Until next time, it's Ref Brandon saying, just like in pro wrestling, life can be over by the count of 3. Tell your friends and family how much you love them. Bye.